Sounds like throughout this whole thing that you and your husband really had very open and honest conversations around where you were and what your goals were and how your goals might have been changing. And when you started a family, how that might have changed the picture. So do you recommend that people, have a regular, like a weekly sit down, a monthly sit down? What's the best way for couples to check in on the finances over time?
Well, one of the good things about having a podcast, as you know, and I enjoy, is learning from others. So I was interviewing like families that retired early or couples that started traveling. And I wanted to see, are there certain patterns, and consistently having these check-ins with each other. I call them money dates, mattered. Now, for some couples, it seems, just honestly with schedule and everything going, monthly works really well because of your budget. You can look what went well last week, how are we doing for our goals for the year, and do we need to adjust anything? So monthly for us, that's what we do personally. But I know some couples that meet weekly, it's kind of like a Friday date night thing, but they keep it short. So when you do the weekly check-ins, you're not sitting there for an hour pulling out the spreadsheet. The great thing about fintech is you have apps out there. You have, if you want to do spreadsheets, if you want to do pen and paper, however you like to do it, you can pull up the numbers, kind of look at the cash flow. Is everything okay? Are we going according to plan? Are we saving enough? For us, we are paying off our mortgage instead of 30 years in 10 years. So that means every year there's a certain amount that we're putting in. And if we need to adjust, like we just discovered this past week, orthodontists for both of our kids, then you start tweaking things and the contributions to HSA. So they're conversations, but they're not like an hour about money. It's more like once you set it up, then it's just maintenance and checking in with each other. When we first started, I will say, we're definitely more numbers heavy, but now it's more just, hey, how is everything going? I noticed that the HSA, we spent a little bit more than we anticipated. Well, yeah, dentist work cost a little more than we thought. Those conversations are maybe 5 minutes, but it makes a difference. Because can I tell you a story when it goes wrong and you don't have these conversations?
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
What you want to avoid is, and I interviewed this couple, and when I met them, they were like high school sweethearts, like that close. But they told me something crazy. They had a system where he handled the finances, and she was like, "You got it. It's good." And she knew that they were carrying debt, but she didn't realize what was going on. And what happened was not having regular check-ins. Long story short, the credit card debt went insane. And it wasn't one of those stories where he was gambling away the money. It was, he felt like he had to keep a lifestyle. He felt in his role to provide, if he said no to his family, that he was somehow failing them. We could have our own ideas of like, does that make sense or not? But for him, that's how he felt. And so it started growing and he couldn't say anything to her. And then in 2008, when they changed the rules about the minimum credit card payments, this might sound shocking. The minimum credit card payments was $2,000 a month. And he was like, we have no money. And he had to go to his wife and he's like, we are going to be bankrupt in a matter of weeks. There is absolutely no money. Well, it's an amazing story how they synced up, but it made them realize that it's actually a protection for both of you to have these check-ins. Whether one person is the go-to person or not, that's fine. But you should both be involved and both keep an eye on things, because if things go off track, because life happens, you can adjust course much easier than waiting down the line when you have this huge amount of debt. They had over $100,000 in credit card debt that they had to deal with.
Crazy.